Hello, hi. Welcome to Her and a Circle of Friends. My name is Buitumelo Makate, and this is such a beautiful Monday evening. Or should I say Monday night? It's already past 10. I'm busy with my journal, my guided journal, it's called My Walk with Christ. I'm in the editing phase, and I got to a point in my journal where it speaks about forgiveness, and I realized that this is a big deal. Well, it's a big deal to me. And now, like I'm in the moment, right? I'm in the zone. I'm listening to praise and worship, and I'm busy with this, and it is so. Let me just put it this way. The praise and worship was literally speaking to what I wrote. And I'm like, this one song that I was listening to, I'm like, OMG. God speaks in ways that we can never, ever understand. And, when it comes to, for me personally, my forgiving journey started a long time ago. It started at a time where I felt like, I'm too nice, I'm too sweet. People are taking advantage of me. And I remember praying and asking God to make me evil, to make me like a mean person. Can you ever pray for such? And at that point, I didn't know what I was asking for. And I remember because people knew me the way I was. So even at times and moments where I felt like that was really mean, it was taken like a pinch of salt. People didn't take offense. They were not even worried about it because it wasn't something that was in me to be mean. It made it very difficult for that to be part of my character, because we are in our Potter's hands. Like, God is forever working and shaping and molding us into the character that He desires for us. And being mean was definitely not one of the things that God has brought me in this world to do. I feel like at that particular time, He protected my heart. He protected my mind. My behavior, it was questionable at that particular time because I wanted to be this mean person, but it wasn't working because God had a purpose in my life, for me in my life at that time. There was something that He needed for me to do in that season, either to learn or to do or to teach. However, there was something happening in my space during that time that every time I would be, or if I felt like I was acting mean towards someone, I remember I would go back to that person and engage in a conversation. For me, it was selfish because I was trying to figure out if this person is not mad at me, if I didn't say anything to offend them. And, it actually opened up a dialogue. We started having conversations around some of the things that I would say, or maybe I had pointed out as me trying to be mean. Meanwhile, it was something that, because of the person who said it, and I feel like at that time, because it was me, the person felt confident and comfortable to engage in a conversation with me so that I can understand where they're coming from and, why certain things happened and why they are the way they are. It shifted my perspective, and it shifted my mind. Anyways, that's not where I'm going. Where I'm going with this is, I'm busy with my journal, and one of the scriptures that I always make reference to is Matthew 18 verse 21 to 22, where it reads as follows. Then Peter came up and said to Him, Lord, how many times shall my brother sin against me, and I still forgive him? And then up to 7 times, Jesus said to him, I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 77 times. That really did a number on me because I realized if I have to forgive someone 70 times 7, that means I need to continuously forgive them for whatever wrong they do. I need to continue pardoning them. I need to it must be like a lifestyle, literally, where I forgive someone and I forgive people. And the next one is Ephesians 4 verse 31 to 32. It says, get rid of all bitterness, rage and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. Ooh, that's one. That one right there. I mean, it's a boom moment. It's one of those verses that you can't even, it doesn't need to be translated, that it doesn't need to be spelled out. It is straightforward. It is what it is. It is important that we forgive and that we are kind and we are compassionate. When I thought of forgiving someone and I was thinking of compassionate, I'm like, I need to find myself in a position where I do not brawl forgiveness. I do not hold on to it. I literally have to put myself in someone else's shoes, because it says be compassionate and kind. What? Kind and compassionate. And there's no ways you can forgive someone without applying kindness. And I do believe that when we are compassionate, when we are sympathetic towards someone and whatever that they may have done, because sometimes people do things or they act out of character. They do things that they themselves do not know, or it doesn't make sense to them. It's very important that we forgive other people, because that also liberates us from anything and everything that binds us with that person. There was a saying growing up, I will forgive and I will never forget. And I've always thought about it. I'm like, okay, memory is something profound, right? Something big. It's when something, or when an offense or a life-changing experience has happened to you, it's very difficult to forget, right? I think that has actually made people to hold on to offense because of using the words like, I will forgive, but I will not forget. Definitely, we don't forget if someone has hurt us, right? However, when you are compassionate and you apply love and kindness towards that person that has hurt you or that has offended you in any way, it's easier for healing to take place. And for me, what came to mind was the I will not forget part comes with how much I'm willing to heal. If I'm not ready to, if I don't want to heal, in fact, let me put it this way, if I don't want to heal from that offense, it's going to be very difficult for me to forget. And for forgetting also has layers to it. It can mean I will not forget the thing that you did to me. With some people, I will not forget how what you did made me feel, and that's where the difference comes in. I think we need to sit down and dissect it and ask yourself, will I not forget the feeling that they gave me when they offended me, or the feeling that I had when they offended me, or that I experienced rather, or I will not forget them because they did something to me. And these are two things, because if you say to someone, I will forgive you, but I will not forget what you did to me, you're operating from an ego. Something has been done to you. Therefore, who are you to do this to me? Therefore, it's going to be very difficult to forgive or to let go of the offense, because you feel like that is something that was done to you. However, if you say to someone, it's going to be very difficult for me to forget how you made me feel, right? Because we operate from feelings. However, as time progresses and as you start healing, we are healing what is on the inside. We are healing that feeling of being hurt. And once you have healed, or once you've forgiven that person, that feeling goes away. Well, it doesn't go away completely. However, I'm just thinking of a word. it lightens the burden. That's it. It lightens the burden. That feeling becomes lighter. You are no longer operating from a place of anger, rage, and unforgiveness. You start operating from a point of compassion, of kindness, of you are able to love that person again. I'll make a typical example. There's people who are in abusive relationships. They keep going back to their abuser or the perpetrator. They keep going back there because they do not look at it as I am being hurt. They're looking at it as this person is hurting my feelings. This person is hurting how I'm feeling, and not necessarily this person is hurting me, because their being is still intact, right? Well, it's arguable because some people get hurt beyond recognition. However, when they feel like I'm still alive and I'm still able to do certain things, if I'm physically able to go back there, I will go back, up until something changes in their mind where they start seeing that environment is actually not good for me. I need to step away from it and find myself a healthier environment to stay in. And all of that has to do with healing. When that person has healed from the pain that person, the perpetrator, has caused, they go back there because they believe that there is love, there's compassion that is attached to that, there is kindness, there's understanding. They're seeing the situation differently from how the whole world will view it. I mean, we can say to the person, don't go back there because that person has done that to you. But because they are operating from a different narrative, or their story comes from a different narrative, they will still go back. Unlike someone who thinks, who does he think he is, or who does she think she is? I will not go back there. I want to teach them a lesson. You're operating from an ego. You're like, I will not forgive you. You've done this to me. Therefore, I'm cutting you off completely. And so I'm busy with this, and I'm like, I understand why forgiveness is such a big part to me. I understand why I'm an advocate of forgiveness. And I do understand also, it's not only forgiveness, it's also healing. I advocate a lot for healing as well, which is a very important part leading up to forgiveness, because we do not forgive for the sake of saying I forgive you or letting go. We forgive because we want to heal. There are parts to us that have been bruised that require healing. There's parts to us that we don't talk about, that when we forgive, we want to let go because we don't want to hold on to that offense. And sometimes it's not even external. Sometimes it's internal. Forgiving myself for not showing up for myself the way I should. Forgiving myself for holding myself back from things that are important. Forgiving myself for getting into a relationship that I knew, or I could see, or staying rather in a relationship that I could see that it's not fruitful and not fulfilling for me. Forgiving myself for dragging what I should have cut earlier on in life. So forgiveness is a big deal. It starts with me, and then the next person is secondary. I have to start first and analyze myself and my thought, my feelings. I need to understand where my stand is. Am I going to sit here and allow myself to hold on to this unforgiveness that's weighing me down? Or am I going to release it and allow God to be God and take over? Because only then that's when the true healing starts. When we allow God into our space, only then that's when the true healing starts. That's when forgiveness comes in, because we understand better who God is. There's a thing that myself and a friend of mine, Pudding, I think everybody knows Pudding, There's something profound that she had said before. And it was, we were speaking about forgiveness, but she said something about allowing someone access. I will forgive them, but I will not allow them access. And she said something so profound. And she said, imagine if God said, I forgive you, but I deny you access. Ooh, I had goosebumps for days. Imagine not having access to God. Imagine that. Ooh, that's bad. I could not advocate for forgiveness after that, because in my heart, and I know situations are different, and I have so much respect for people's situations. There's people's families who have been killed, or someone raped, or there are hectic things that people have done to people, and it's not something that we can shove down or force people to accept. However, it's always important that we speak about it, that we help people see the light that we've already seen. The whole point of us reading and understanding scripture and studying the Bible is so that we can be disciples of others. Jesus said he's disciples. Today, we are all disciples, and we all have a responsibility. If I've learned Matthew 18, verse 21 to 22, and I see that someone is holding on or carrying unforgiveness, it would be sin for me not to do anything about it. There's a Bible verse that says, those that know more will be judged harshly than those who do not know. If someone does not know at all, God will not come to you and say, but girl, you knew about this. But now that I know, I feel like when I get to heaven, God will say, but you knew, and you let this person carry this burden. The whole point of you being here on earth is so that you can help others also navigate. We are helping each other with knowledge. We are helping each other with wisdom. We are helping each other with insights. When I come across something that has helped me and that has healed me, it's very important for me to go and testify so that the next person can catch it. Because the Bible also does say that let he who has ears hear or listen. And it's very important that when we get to know and understand something, that we do something about it. We don't hog information, right? And this is how healing starts. This is the process of healing. Healing does not mean that when I give you something, when I give you a word or a verse, or if I tell you my experience, it doesn't mean that yours will automatically go away. But I'm enabling you to start thinking along the path that will lead you to life. And for me, forgiveness rather, has brought so much healing in my life. I'm thankful that God placed this in me earlier on, because he knew I was going to need it today. Hey, your girl can go through the most, and it's so difficult sometimes to just accept and say, now I have to run with this. It's tough. However, I understand what God has placed in me. I understand the anointing that is upon my life. I understand that God has given me a voice, and he's given me words. He's given me wisdom and understanding. And if I'm in a position to help someone see the light, I will definitely point them towards where the light is. And it's not that I know too much. I know a lot. Guys, I'm a scholar. I am still learning. There is so much of things that God keeps revealing in my life. A lot of it are not things that I'm proud of, but I'm glad that God is pointing them out, because they are healing me. When things are brought to light, they are exposed. And that's when that's when the healing starts. Let me finish my sentences. I have a thing of not finishing sentences, but I always come back to it. Back to that. Sorry, I lost my train of thoughts. I forgot where I was. But healing is very, very important. It is very, very important. It is liberating. It is so that we free ourselves from things that could potentially damage us. It heals us from not experiencing the love of God. I strongly believe that when you learn to forgive, God just intentionally wraps his hands around you to say, thank you, child, for showing that person that I love. Because ultimately, it's not our will, but God's will. Not all of us have a heart of forgiveness. And it's also one of those things that are not expected, right? No one expects you. If they've offended you, they already know that I have created an uncomfortable environment for me and this person to coexist or to function. However, when you forgive them, they don't know how to act because in their mind, they have created something around you. They've created some sort of barrier, right? That barrier of unforgiveness, something that you are going to hold on to and not let go. I feel like as human beings, we love the narrative of hate. We love the narrative that we tell of people not speaking to each other. We love the narrative of people fighting. We love the narrative of gossip because, I don't know, somehow I feel like, I don't know whether it's an escape from reality, from fully experiencing another human being, or it's just a thing that we do because it gives us, gratification. I just want to challenge someone, if you are able to challenge yourself. If someone comes to you and says something, and if they're fighting with somebody else and they come to you to come and tell you about that argument they had or that fight that they had, and, just challenge yourself. It's not even for the next person. If you're used to adding or maybe listening to all of that, and you're not able to say anything constructive or positive in that situation, challenge yourself to say something that's going to edify and not take away, something that's going to build and not crush. Because I feel like because we are so full of unforgiveness and hate and dislike and anger and rage, that when someone says, oh, so-and-so did this, they stepped on my left toe, we are quick to say, oh, let's go get them. Who do they think they are to come and do this to you? Challenge yourself and, say something constructive, say something that's going to edify, to build, say something that's going to make the next person think to themselves, oh snap, I went to a wrong one. I shouldn't have gone there. Say something that will shock them, that you do not participate in things that increase or that add on unforgiveness, that add on hate, that add on anger and rage and all these nasty things or nasty thoughts and emotions. I just want to just challenge yourself and ask yourself, how am I going to act next time someone comes and they bring such news to me? Because I also feel like that's what prolongs the process of healing and forgiving. It's because of things that we hear from other people. I was actually watching something. I don't remember if it was on TikTok or where, but it was on the internet or Instagram. And this boy, I don't know what the situation was, but the part that I saw was this young boy just saying, I think his brother was killed by this lady. I don't know how the killing happened. I didn't follow the story, but I was just caught by that moment where he was speaking and he just said, I forgive you. And I just pray that after this, you build a relationship with Christ, receive Christ in your life. I forgive you. And honestly, my wish and desire for you is not to go to jail. I don't know how everyone else feels, but I feel like I don't want you to go to jail. I want you to heal. I have forgiven you. And he went on by saying, please, can I come give you a hug? If that's allowed, I just feel like giving you a hug. And the judge allowed it. And he gave the lady a hug. And that lady was just, you could see she was just beside herself because She did not expect forgiveness from anybody. She did not expect those kind of words coming out of someone who is closely related to the victim. And that young man showed compassion. He showed love. I as an advocate for forgiveness, I actually sat back and I was thinking to myself, what would I have done in that situation? And that clip just showed me how important it is to always be tuned into the frequency of God. Be in a position where your heart is not immediately filled with rage and anger. It must be filled with compassion and love, no matter how hard the situation is. And I know that situations are not the same and we cannot weigh it the same. I've seen instances where someone has killed someone's family and they forgave them. And for me, that's one of the biggest crimes. You cannot replace a life. However, if someone in that position can forgive somebody, I was asking myself, who am I? Who am I not to be forgiving? And I'm just taken aback also when Jesus was stoned, spit on, before his crucifixion. Before he was crucified, he was spit on, he was hit, he was stoned, he was insulted. All these things happened to him. But the one thing that he said when he was on the cross, he said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. And I strongly believe that forgiveness comes from that. People don't really know the offense or what they're really doing to us, or to anyone for that matter. I don't know if I have offended anyone, and I'd like to believe that when I did not know what I was doing to the next person. And hence I live by apologizing to whoever. I apologize for all the wrongs that I have done, knowing and unknowing. And I forgive, and I ask God to forgive me. And when I pray and I say, forgive me for my trespasses, as I forgive those who trespass against me, that is so profound. And sometimes we say that prayer, but we don't know what we're saying. Anyways, I got really, really excited and I thought, let me just come on. And I think I have recorded an episode on forgiveness. I don't know if it's online, but I thought, let me come on and do this. I'd like to really hear from you, your thoughts around forgiveness. What is the one thing that's holding you back from forgiveness? What unforgiveness are you carrying in your heart? What is the risk that you feel in your heart, that if you forgave someone, this is the risk that you would run at? What is the one thing that you feel that if I were to forgive, this is what I would lose? Just ask yourself, do an introspection, hear your thoughts, hear your mind, ask yourself questions, introspect. I'm also a big advocate in going back and doing stock take, because for me it's very important to continuously and constantly know where your thoughts are, where the position of your heart is, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're saying to yourself, about others in your environment. Yeah, this is me, Beauty Mokhatle, signing out, and we will speak soon. Thank you for listening.